Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Jesse. This is my garage. Here's our project car, 300zx. So you're probably, if you're watching this video, you obviously either have a 300zx or you're thinking about getting a 300zx. I'll stop you right there. Go ahead and do it. Car is freaking sick. But also, what am I gonna do? Now I have a 300zx. Where am I gonna start? Use these parts. So number one, I'm going to tell you right down in the description and the links below, it is a parts list for all the parts that we are putting on this car. This is a $2,000 300zx that I bought. Everything was in good condition, but it had lacked the maintenance over the years. So now where I like to start on JDM classic sports cars like the 300zx or anything that's going to be like 25, 30 years old, even 20 years old, even like an older 350Z. Now they're coming up close to 20 years. The suspension is going to give you the ride quality, and that's where I like to start. I like to start on suspension. Plus, coilovers are going to be a huge bang for your buck for a first modification. Not only is it going to make your car look cool, but you can tune the handling. So you can start tuning your car, starting with the suspension, and it's going to give you a better ride quality while you're in the car, make it more enjoyable for you, make a more enjoyable project car. So that way, you know, we're driving a little bit older cars. We want them to feel good. We don't want them to feel like they're older. But then I also start refreshing like suspension bushings. We'll get under there and look what's cracked, what's broken, how's our tie rod ends, is anything bent there. What we're gonna find usually in these situations is a lot of just wore out suspension bushings, and we'll start replacing those. Those aren't extremely expensive. This is actually a good place to get into modifying your car because the bushings themselves are actually pretty cheap. And then doing the work isn't super bad, but you do have to have some specialty tools when working with suspension, like ball joint pullers, because we need to probably replace ball joints, presses or something like that to get the old bushings out, and at least a vise to get the new bushings back in. Watch some of my other videos where I'm building this car and kind of talking about the process, what needs to be happening and all that stuff. And of course there's how-to videos. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, go through the back videos, kind of check out, get up to speed on all of that. And then of course, watch the new ones coming out because we will continue to build all this. And like I said, links in the description for all the parts I'm using for this car. So you can at least get a good set on, you know, where should I start? What should I be looking at? Oh, lower control arm bushings, you know, HKS delete, blah, 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 all the stuff that you're probably thinking about. And it can be overwhelming, but I've got to link all the parts, all the list, and you can check that all out down there. All right, now you're gonna build your 300zx or your new project car. This is where I like to start. Like I was saying, they're older, wore out. Most of them, probably the one you got, hasn't had a suspension refresh, a complete suspension refresh. And if they're 25 years old, have 150, 200,000 miles on them, the suspension components are gonna be wore out and it's gonna give you a bad ride. It's gonna handle bad, not safe really. So I like to start at the front suspension, front coilovers, and I'll work my way back, get the back suspension, back coilovers in, just refresh all the bushings as I go through. One company, if you're a Nissan guy, if you like the S chassis, if you like the Z chassis, if you like the R chassis, the go-to suspension people I really like them. They're enthusiasts and they're manufactured and they use all the products they make, and that is GK Tech. Now, you can go to like energy suspension and those parts are good. Everything's gonna be better than what's worn out. But energy suspension is a little bit more parts buckety type. They'll have one bushing that fits a whole bunch of different vehicles. And you know, you get part 7.108 and that'll fit your lower control arm bushing on a 300zx and who knows what other vehicles. But GK Tech manufactured, they're enthusiasts for the chassis that they manufacture for. Nissan Z chassis, Nissan S chassis, and Nissan R chassis. So all their products are manufactured and tested on the vehicles that you and me are going to be putting them on. So I like that. I do use energy suspension, use all kinds of other stuff. Another notable mention is, of course, if you're working on the Z chassis, is Z1. They manufacture a lot of components themselves too, and you know everything's gonna fit, be awesome, and work correctly for the application. And you might get some bonus features that they re-engineered a little bit better, because we're going to talk about subframe bushings in another video. Make sure to subscribe so you can see that. And we're going to talk about why vehicle specific from enthusiast manufacturers have a little bit of an edge over something like an energy suspension bushing that might be a little bit more parts buckety and not a little bit more tuned to the car. So I'll talk about that in another video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. But also what makes like GK Tech possible for them to manufacture all these parts for these three specific chassis is a lot of the 90s Nissan Z, R, and S chassis use a lot of the same parts and have a lot of the same suspension component design. So like the subframe bushings that we're going to put in this car can actually go in an S chassis and all that same stuff. And a lot of like the upper control arms for this car for the front are the same as an R32 Skyline. So it's kind of cool to get a little bit of cross matching on that. All right, now for coilovers, a couple coilovers that I like to use. I'm just going to throw out some parts. I have ISR coilovers. If you saw the coilover video that I put out or some of the install videos, you know, I have ISR coilovers for this car and then also for the 240 over there. So I like them. I think you get a good bang for your buck. Also, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of enthusiasts use BC coilovers, which are good. They're great. They're awesome. Those guys are point on for manufacturing coilovers. But I think the ISR ones they're so closely, the performance rating on them is so close that I just choose to go with ISR because it's a little bit cheaper. And honestly, I get them on Black Friday, and in Juku Racing like knocks another $100 off of them, and they only knock $50 off of BACs. So I just swoop up those coilovers when they go on sale, like no problem. Now the 350Z, I bought it with these coilovers on there. It is the Raceland coilovers. That is a very entry-level coilover. We'll be upgrading those in the future, but they're already on there and they actually ride pretty good. So, and there's Fortune Auto and so many different other options, but I would recommend the ISR BC coilovers. And then if you want to go from there, go exploring. There's a couple things to think about on your coilovers. So for another modifiable part that we'll work on, so we've got our suspension all good. We've got our our stance all good. We got coilovers on there. Our ride is good. We have good handling, good ride quality. So the next thing I want to do, I mean, you probably like me, and we want to tune this exhaust, and we want it to sound great. Maybe you like really loud, or maybe you like, a nice tuned tone, which I actually prefer that. I know for exhaust, if you like loud, there is an option at Z1 Motorsports that have like basically straight pipe. 3-inch straight pipe, boom, loud as you want, super annoying. You won't be able to talk to anybody in the cab. Ask me how I know. My 350Z was straight piped, super loud. We changed that up to an ISR single exit exhaust. I like that one. But we're talking about the 300ZX. What I'd like to put on mine, and if you watch my other video about how to make power in your 300ZX, you're already gonna know where I'm gonna go with this. It's the HKS high power exhaust. Now they offer this if you have the 2+0 coupe. They offer that exhaust, super sweet. Now I have the high power on the 240 over there, and it sounds amazing. Maybe I'll insert the clip right here. And we actually ordered it for my brother, Wes. If you see him on this channel, popping in and out, he's working on his Miata, but he has an RX-8, and we actually ordered the high power HKS exhaust for that because it's going to sound freaking amazing. I can't wait for that to come in. It's on back order. Thanks, Corona. You want to know what parts to use for your 300ZX, or maybe you just want some ideas on parts to use for your 300ZX? Well, I have a complete list in the description below, so make sure and click on the description below. It's got a list of all the parts that we're putting on this 300ZX right now. And I'm going to continue to add to that list and put it on different videos that are coming up. So hit that subscribe button if you want to see that list grow. Go down and check out in the description, the links down below to show you all the parts that I'm running. So maybe if you want some front suspension ideas, listed down there. You want some rear suspension ideas, listed down there. So check out the below for the build on the 300ZX. I've even got the 240. Maybe you're building the 240. I've got a list of that. The rear suspension on that is freaking crazy. It's GK Tech everything. Let me know, what are you running on your, what parts do you need help on? Hit me down in the comments below. Maybe give me some ideas for other videos to make too. Somebody was asking me to do an install video on this lip right here, which The lip is listed in the description below. It has what lip it is. That video is coming. I promise, dude. It is coming. If you're watching this video, the install is coming like next. Like I'm going to film that one next. I've just been doing other things. So stay tuned for that. Thank you so much for watching. You want to get some merch, go over to Patreon, sign up over there, support the channel that entertains and educates you. There's all kinds of merch options. Just kick it down on the homie level and I will send you out a sticker personally. The Retro JDM J Garage sticker. I'll send it out to anybody that subscribes to that. Like I said, check out the build list down below. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button if you got any kind of value out of this, and hit that subscribe button if you want to see more stuff like this. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.